What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to try something new. We're going to do the first reaction video on this channel ever. It is cold outside, it's rainy outside, it's snowing outside. I can't do anything outside. Currently I'm sitting on 2 e-bikes in my living room that I still have to review. I'm just waiting for the weather to get better. I've got more e-bikes on the way. I'm doing modding on the wired dual motor bike. I can't do anything outside. I can't even test things outside. But what I can do is give you guys some reaction videos on specific e-bike topics. Today's topic is, are e-bikes getting too fast? Will less be more? And this is from a channel named Southern E-Biking. I asked the gentleman that made this video if I could use this video in my video. And we're going to talk about, are e-bikes getting too fast? Are they even bicycles anymore? And guys, leave some comments in the comment section below on what you think. Today we're going to skip through this video and hear what the gentleman in this video has to say. And if you want more videos like this, more reaction style videos, let me know in the comments below. Like the video if you like it, and if you don't like it, tell me why. Tell me in the comments. Tell me your life problems. Tell them why you're mad. Let's get into the video.
A few more degrees would help out a lot. I probably...
See, it's cold all over the country. It's cold everywhere. It's crazy.
Because it's pretty cold out here today. Colder than what I thought it was going to be.
Props to still biking while it's cold. Props to him.
Should have put my head warmer on and stuff as well. But... yeah,
coldest I've ever e-biked in was 25-degree weather Fahrenheit.
But what about on our e-bikes? Is less really... maybe a little bit more? Do we need more on our e-bikes? You know, we're making these things more width on the tires. I've seen them up to almost 5 inches wide.
Those are some big tires.
Dirt bike tires were not much wider.
And those are very challenging to pedal without an electric motor.
Probably
remember, guys, with more power, you generally need more traction. Wider tires, more traction. More
power to them, more speed out of them, more battery on them.
More. God bless America.
That's also
I always want more.
More weight on them. It's not uncommon for these things to be over 100 pounds now.
My dual motor wired bike, 115 pounds.
And straight up, if I wanted a little motorcycle, I would go and buy a little motorcycle.
I hear this all the time.
So,
why don't you just get a motorcycle?
Yeah, we're getting all these... you know, we're making out little mini motorcycles.
That's right.
Here.
Hell yeah.
And like I said, if I wanted to ride a motorcycle, I would go buy a motorcycle. Well, Blaine.
You cannot take motorcycles on rail trails. You have to register motorcycles. You have to insure motorcycles. You have to get a motorcycle license. Motorcycles make a lot of noise. Motorcycles make a lot of smells. Motorcycles are extremely heavy. Motorcycles, at least gas motorcycles, are not as reliable as simple electric motors with controllers and batteries. There's a lot of maintenance to it. The speed of an e-bike doesn't necessarily make it the same thing as a motorcycle. They are very different things.
You know, you do you and let other people do them. Because I've been actually trying to get less and less. I'm trying to get a little bit less weight on this bike. I'm trying to use less of the motor on this bike.
Power to weight ratio is always something good to improve if you can improve it. Maybe one day battery technology will be even better. We'll get even higher energy density in e-bike batteries, but until then, they are going to be kind of heavy.
You know, I'm wanting actually me to do a little bit more and the bike to do a little bit less as far as the motor is concerned, because I'm trying to get, you know, I'm using this for exercise as well, and I can certainly use that.
You can definitely use high-powered e-bikes for exercise. You can do it, and on paper, it makes perfect sense. From my own experience, once human nature is thrown into the mix, it's harder to make yourself exercise when you have so much power, because you just rely on that motor more and more and more because it's there. If you have a lower powered e-bike, generally speaking, it's going to force you to exercise more. It's just like communism. On paper, it works, but in real life, once human nature is thrown into the mix, it kind of breaks down. You're going to rely on that motor a lot, even if you keep it at a low level. Yes, even if you keep it at level 1, discipline is unreliable. But if that bike doesn't have a big motor, if it's only giving you, I don't know, 250, 500 watts, you're just going to use your legs more.
Less of the throttle anymore. So anytime somebody sees me using that throttle to pull out, that's about the only time I use it anyway. But anytime somebody sees that, tell me, man, I got you. I got you. So, because I'm trying to even see about getting rid of that and not using that anymore.
Sounds like a personal challenge.
Okay, Blaine, that's fine for you. If that's what you want to do,
there it is.
Hey, more power to you.
More power to you. If that's what you want to do, if you want to challenge yourself,
well,
go for it.
I can tell you what's happening is because the industry is doing more. Who was it that I was watching the other day? Russ up in Chicago said he didn't like to ride on the bikeways very much because people kind of yell out at him there. You know, e-bikers get a bad reputation that they do not deserve. We're going to even be doing a video on that. I've got enough video coverage of, I will just go ahead and call them the spandex crowd, that I think I can just about put together an entire video on how they're a lot of problem.
I've gotten yelled at twice by the spandex crowd, and I love it when they do that. I love it. I catch up to them, and I ride right next to them, and I ask them, why are you mad? Tell me your problems. One guy once yelled at me, cheater! And I slowed down, I hit my brakes, and I asked him genuinely, who am I cheating? Some other time, this lady was yelling at me. She was going 20 miles an hour on a rail trail on her, regular road bike in spandex, and I wanted to pass her, so I went about 25. She purposely caught up to me to yell at me, hey, that's not safe. What am I supposed to do? I wanted to pass you. You're going 20 miles an hour. And then she was yelling at me. I wasn't going 20 miles an hour. Meanwhile, I have a speedometer. I told her, I have a speedometer. I know exactly how fast I'm going. You don't have a speedometer. Anyways, rant over. Let's get back to the video.
But that's not for today. But this bike right here, you just looked at it. Nobody ever says anything to me about an e-bike, about being on an e-bike. And it's fast. It'll go up to 28 miles an hour. But boy, when I take out my fat tire bike, there's usually not too bad on that, because I try and keep it, relatively slow. But well, you hear the stories all day long. You hear the stories all day long. Well, so what, Blaine? Let them have, But here's the thing that I have a bit of a problem with is when they make these things more speed and more power, I'll tell you something else we're going to get more, and it's going to come in faster, and that's going to be the regulations. I have seen several videos already. 2024, an e-bike revolution. They're getting stronger and faster and more powerful and all-wheel drive. And then I've seen other videos that talk about the laws that are coming in on e-bikers. Don't you see the connection there? Change my mind on that. As I think it's Charlie Kirk would say that, change my mind. Because I don't think where we're headed is in a good direction. And I like to get a good range. Matter of fact, I'd like to see 2 batteries.
I think the direction we're going for maybe will be more classifications of e-bikes or e-bikes, e-motorcycles, whatever you want to call them. Right now we have what, class 1, 2, and 3. Maybe there'll be some other class where it's kind of like in a class 4, more of a moped style of e-bike, because some of these e-bikes in certain states, they're classified as nothing. Even if you wanted to register it as a moped, you can't. Some Suron riders have to put fake pedals on their Surons for cops to leave them alone, and it's it is what it is. But in my opinion, I think the real reason the government will eventually step in to regulate these things is because they will find a way to generate more money through taxes by making people either register these things or tax them, force people to insure them, whatever it might be.
And if I get another bike this year, if I can find one with the specs that I like, it doesn't matter if it has a second battery, and if it's got one integrated, it will have a second battery, because I've already investigated how I can hook up a battery kind of like I have right now to it and be good to go. Be good to go on it. And so that's going to happen. Again, I want to find something that has the specs that I like before I'm going to do something like that. But do we really need to be going over 28 miles an hour?
Yes. When you are on a busy road, I feel safer personally keeping up with traffic versus being a slow-moving obstacle. When you're a stationary obstacle on the road, on the side of the road, people's brains kind of understand how quickly it takes to pass that stationary obstacle. But when you're moving at this almost like a lukewarm speed of 20 to 30 miles an hour, it's annoying to pass that slowish moving obstacle. If you guys have ever passed a moped, you need to calculate extra distance to pass that specific vehicle, and that causes issues, versus if you are simply keeping up with traffic, there's no obstacle.
Some would say we don't need to be going over 20 miles an hour. Others are saying we need to be able to go 40 miles an hour, and that's to keep up with traffic. Well,
there it is.
Something like the Surons, or, well, not even the Surons, but the Grizzlies and things like that, the moped style e-bikes, there's nothing wrong with them, but they're not meant to be pedaled. What if they could have a different designation for all of those things?
There you go. I agree.
Tell me in the comments what you think, because I know some of you guys ride some of the bikes like that, the moped styles. That's not something that I am.
And by moped style, I'm assuming he's referring to the speed of a moped style e-bike, because there are moped style e-bikes where the frame looks like a moped, but it only goes up to 30, 28 miles an hour. They're limited. Some of them are slow. Some of them are really fast, like the Onyx, but some of them are slow. I'm going to assume that he's referring to the speed and the look of the e-bike that's a moped style.
Real interested. Let's see. I think we'll maybe go down towards the fire department today. That's not something I'm real interested in. Like I said, they kind of remind me of a mini bike when I was a kid. And so, I'm not necessarily interested in riding one like that, but at least not for a main bike. They could be a lot of fun, don't get me wrong, but for a main bike. But what if we could get them at this stage classified as something else? Would that kind of leave the, how would I say, the bicycles that have battery powered assistance, would that leave those alone? Because what we're going to find out, and I've been preaching this, you've probably heard it on some other videos. You go to Europe, it's 250 watts.
God bless America for not having idiot laws like Europe when it comes to e-bike. God bless America. Thank God.
Is the max. And I'm not sure if it's 20 kilometers or 20 miles per hour.
It
Is
hurts
top
just
speed
thinking
that an
about
e-bike,
that.
if you're going to have it on greenways and that type of thing right there. So I kind of hate to see that being pushed in, but if this continues going where it's going, the push is going to get hard, and that's what's going to end up happening. Michelle is already looking at different states that are starting to ban e-bikes on the bikeways, and they're saying they are banning e-bikes. Now that's only in the beginning phases. That's probably going to be not argued, but negotiated down to where it's maybe class 1 and class 2 e-bikes are okay there, but not class 3. Probably is where it's going to go. Maybe they'll include class 3 on them, and nothing above that. Technically,
I think every e-bike should have a throttle. The whole class thing where certain bikes don't have a throttle doesn't make any sense, because a cadence sensor can be used as a throttle on pretty much every cadence sensor bike. As soon as you, well, not every cadence sensor, but some of them, as soon as you start pedaling, the bike, the controller will tell the motor, give it full power. So if I pedal even a little bit, it will act as a throttle. And I've done this on certain bikes. One of the bikes I reviewed had an annoying cruise control issue, so I just slowly ghost pedaled. I kept it in the lowest gear, and I slowly ghost pedaled, and that acted as a throttle. So I essentially have a throttle without having a throttle on the handlebar. I think every e-bike should come with a throttle. I think it's a stupid handicap to not have it. That's just my personal opinion. If you disagree, let me know in the comments.
a lot of these bikes are above a class 3, because a class 3 is supposed to throttle up to 20, and that's it. And a lot of these throttle past that. Well, who's going to enforce that? You know, I get that. But when you see these bikes that are on the street out there going 40 miles an hour, let's take a ride back through this little neighborhood here. It's a dead end, but we'll see where it goes. But when you see them bikes out there doing 35, 40 miles an hour on
God
the
bless
roads,
America.
and they turn down a bike path, and that's what's going to get people's dander in an uproar. Well, this isn't very big.
You don't have to go 40 miles an hour on a bike path. For me personally, if I see people walking on a rail trail, I'm not going to blast by them at 40 miles an hour. I could, just like you can go 100 miles an hour in a 25 mile an hour street in your car. I wouldn't recommend it, but you could do it. It's up to the user, it's up to the rider. Yes, there are kids wheeling around on their Surons going God knows how fast, probably by little old ladies walking their dogs. Just like there are people flying in the highway at 120 miles an hour, zipping between cars on their motorcycles. People are always going to do this kind of thing. Will it be enforced one day? Will there be speed limits that are enforced on rail trails and bike pathways? Maybe. We'll see.
I would have thought this could have, because I know they have quite a bit of land that can go back there. Maybe it turns again, goes further on. No, it doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it. That's what gets people into the dander. And you know, like I said, all it takes is the wrong person in a community to start that. Who might that wrong person be? Well, you know, we all hear about the cyclist, the road cyclist, how they hate e-bikers. How many of the, I would have thought they had.
How someone feels about you is out of your direct control. Therefore, you shouldn't worry about it.
More room back here than this, but I guess not. You know, there's a ton of road cyclists out there that have lobbying groups with them. They try and get better infrastructure and stuff like that. That's good. But what happens when one of them road bikers doesn't like the e-bikers. There's a little food for thought, huh? They've got more political.
It's going to be exactly like when cars were first introduced and people who are still using horses didn't like those cars. Look what happened. We got cars everywhere. The same thing is going to happen. I think the government is on the e-bikers side because they're giving already a lot of tax credits for these e-bikes because people stop using their car and instead take their e-bike out as a form of transportation, whereas the bicyclist will still use a car. So I think the government is on the e-bike side. We're just going to see more and more e-bikes, especially if the government is incentivizing the use of e-bikes instead of using cars. So these cyclists, they're just going to have to suck it up because you're just going to see more and more e-bikes out in the roads. We might even start seeing dedicated e-bike lanes or just more dedicated bike lanes that are wider and bigger. Maybe they'll have some kind of separation for e-bikes and regular bikes. That's just my opinion.
Political power than the e-bikers do because there's not much working for them. There's the electric vehicles, but that's not specific enough for bikes that it's going to help us a whole lot. So, but that's what's been on my mind, is that maybe a little less could actually be a little bit more. Something that looks...
That's it for today, guys. Let me know what you think about this video in the comments below. What are your thoughts on, are e-bikes too fast? Are they too much? Should we clamp down the power? Can we clamp down on the power of e-bikes? What are the laws going to be in the future? What should they be in the future? Let's start a discussion down below in the comments section. And if you like this video, like it. If I've earned your subscription to the channel, please subscribe. If you don't like this video, if you don't like me, if you don't like the channel, let me know why in the comments. Tell me why you're mad. Tell me your life problems. Until next time.